Welcome back to Up the Villa. On today's episode, we're going to have an opinion piece on a couple of topics, mainly Emi Buendia. So grab yourself a coffee, a tea, a beer, whatever you drink, water, tap water, and just chill, relax, and just share your thoughts in the comment section down below on everything that I discuss and anything else that you want to discuss. The comment section goes off like a fan forum. Smash the like button. And we are fastly approaching 27,000 subscribers, which is absolutely massive and mental at the same time. So, yeah, let's get stuck into it then. So, firstly, I wanted to talk about Buendia. And I think this is really interesting within Aston Villa's pre-season and where Buendia fits in. And don't get me wrong, before pre-season started, he was one of the players that I was like, yeah, he's going. The reason why I've thought that is because we're going off factual evidence of what Unai Emery has thought of Emi Buendia. Last season, Buendia went out on loan, obligation to buy, signed the new deal, so his contract went a couple of years higher, which meant we'd get value, so it enabled us to add value onto the obligation. And for whatever reason, well, Alonso left Leverkusen and they haven't wanted to take up that option within that deal that Aston Villa struck. So from a Villa point of view, from my point of view, it looked like he was surplus to requirements, not really much of a way back in it for Aston Villa. So that's where I've based my thoughts on, thinking that Emi Buendia is going to leave. Now, reports from The Athletic are saying that Unai is open to Buendia staying, which is great. And I think the first signs that I saw of Buendia looking a little bit different was against Frankfurt, where I thought he showed more physicality, getting around the pitch, pressing, and he's played well in pretty much every single game we've played in pre-season. And, you know, against Roma, he really impressed me. He really stood out. And I think the thing is with Buendia, you know, I think we can all look at Buendia and go, he's a really good player. There's bags of talent and ability there. He's got a lot to offer. But at times it's just not quite worked out and been there for Villa. Now, for football players especially, sometimes the stars have got to just align. Everything's got to be perfect and come together, and a great pre-season, no injuries, trusting your body, motivation, mentality being in the right area. And I would say going into this season, Buendia looks completely different to me. And the one element of his game that I feel like is one of the areas that really frustrates me when I watch him is when he gets on that half turn, he's got players in front of him and the pass just isn't quite there. It's either overhit, underhit, cut out. And against Roma, he was getting on the ball, bodying players, doing a nice little swivel pirouette, bursting forward, played a great pass into Watkins, looked lively at the byline, executed the free kick wonderfully, vision was there, pressing was there, getting about the pitch was there. And that's perfect, that is. If you can execute that in the Europa League or execute that off the bench for Villa, that is absolutely brilliant for us. And we could be crying out for that, because I think if we look at Villa's team at the minute, so let's just use a hypothetical situation where we've got Watkins starts, Rodgers starts, Marlon starts, McGinn starts. What creativity have we got off the bench? Well, we've got a Guesson, we've got a Ramsey, and what else do we have? Jimoh Aloba or Buendia. So Buendia, there's a position there, a similar position to the Asensio role maybe, And my big frustration with Asensio is that he just didn't get around the pitch enough for me. If Buendia can continue what he's been doing and get around the pitch, press well, and I don't mean press well as in just... I think sometimes there can be a bit of a difference between an actual press and just running to a player. Now, where I'm talking about actual press, I'm talking about, say, for example, Ollie Watkins, cutting down a passing lane, pressing with purpose, not just amble into an area and not having an impact on where that ball then ends up going. So far, I've been happy with him pressing, and I just wanted to kind of do the main bulk of this episode on Buendia to see where we're at. Now, are we at a stage where we've been deceived by pre-season and we're looking at it and thinking he's having a good pre-season, but is that enough for him to stay? Or are we saying performance-wise and output of what we've seen, he's got a real opportunity to stay? So I'm kind of still at a bit of a... I'm not going to say 50-50 because that's probably unfair on Buendia. But I'm just not sure what direction Emery's going to go in. Is he going to say, right, I'm really happy now, you've got on board pre-season, you've applied yourself really well, I want you to be a part of the squad? Or is he going to just be like, I'm not sure, if loan bid comes in, then I might let you go? So I'm not really sure, to be honest, myself, on which way Unai's going to go. But it'd be great to hear what you guys are saying at home. What are your thoughts? Are you confident he's staying? And I just really want to know sort of like where you're at, really. And that leads us on to another player and another attacking player. Now, does this kind of work hand in hand? And I think maybe it might. So as I'm talking, like, things are popping up in my mind. And I'm now thinking about Jimoh Aloba. Now, and you guys know, I absolutely love the kid. I think he's brilliant. I've watched him at youth level a lot. He's so intelligent, so quick, and his execution and striking on the ball is very good. Yes, we yet to see him score for Villa, but he nearly scored against Roma. And he's starting to look and feel comfortable at Villa. Now, why I'm talking about this one is as well, say if Buendia stays, does that mean Jimoh Aloba's minutes are going to be limited? What's the order? What's the pecking order? Where are we sitting? And I would really like to see Jimoh Aloba be involved in the matchday squad for Aston Villa, because I think he can really offer something. And yeah, maybe it's 5-10 minutes, or maybe it's Carabao, maybe it's Europa League off the bench. If we can offer Jimoh Aloba adequate amounts of minutes, then that would make me really happy. But we know that Unai is very good at sort of looking after the player and thinking what's best for you. Now, for Jimoh Aloba, is a loan spell best for him, where he could potentially be playing 38 games in League One, League Two, Championship, etc. I don't know where we would base him at, because obviously Championship, would he start games? Maybe he'd have to grow into it. So we want him to play football. But if Unai can offer him minutes, then I think I would really like to see him in and around the matchday squad as well, and just see what he can do and become that creative outlet on the left maybe as well. So off the striker, I just want to mention him as well, because I've been impressed with him, and again, he looks like he's getting more comfortable and confident. And one player that, for me, is our best player in pre-season is Bogarde. 110%. Okay, Marlon as well. Marlon, has been exceptional as well. But Bogarde, and this is why pre-season's important, and this is why you'll always hear me come on and probably get frustrated when people are saying, oh, we're losing pre-season games. It's so irrelevant. What's relevant is watching a player like Bogarde, So Bogarde had criticism last season for some of the games, especially away at Leicester, and he grew from that. He became better, and he became so reliable and dependable in many different aspects. And we forget how young he is, and that he's still growing as a player. And we've got to, sometimes with these young players, we've got to really believe in them and trust them and back them, and not write them off at the first occasion. And what I'm seeing from Bogarde is a maturity of somebody who has been Unai'd, who has been coached under Unai, and has been refined, and he looks so composed and competent and confident that I'm just absolutely loving everything about him. He looks assured, he looks slick, he's coming out from the back, and in this hybrid three at the back, right back role, I think he can have this locked in. He looks very, very good. Now, we're not going to play that system every week. Like, I think it's game dependent. There'll be games where we want a right back that bombs on, that can be more attacking, or we'll want stay at home, defend a little bit more, give Kamara licence to either screen or sometimes be more expansive and press further up the pitch. But Bogarde's development under Unai Emery, it's second to it's elite coaching, because we can see the rise and the stature and how he's sticking that chest out and becoming more confident. So those are three players that have got real good talking points on what do we do. And the beauty of pre-season, Unai's been able to have a look at some of these young players and test them in certain environments to make his decision and his mind a lot clearer. So I'm just really impressed with how Buendia's playing, how Jimoh Aloba's adapting, how Bogarde's developed, and I think we need to talk about it because it's a real talking point, and it's a good discussion point of where we're going to go next season, what direction, who plays. I mean, even Daniel Marlin against Roma, very tireless, the work he puts in, and running channels, holding the ball up, and sometimes it didn't come off, but then look at that moment in the 18-yard box. Edge of that 18-yard box, all he thinks about is scoring. All he thinks about is end product. And I just absolutely love that from his game. It's really, really good. And I'm feeling positive about the new season. We're hearing that Rodgers' injury isn't serious. I don't think it's serious. Within early assessments, it's going to be looked at again. But the report from The Athletic was it looks like he's aiming to start against Newcastle, which is brilliant. There's a couple of supercomputers doing the rounds at the minute. We've got a 5.1% chance of winning the Premier League. I'd take 0.1% chance, but 5.1% chance, that's actually quite high. And then another supercomputer has predicted us to be in 5th place. And you'll take 5th place, right? You'll take 5th place. So, yeah, feeling really good about us at the minute. And I think Unai has been clear with the players of what he wants and how he wants the system to play, what he wants the structure to look like as well. So, really pleasing signs, and I'd really like to know your thoughts on Buendia. Would you keep him? Would you let him go? We'll bring Bailey into the conversation because I know in the comment, I know what happened to you guys. I'll talk about Buendia, and then someone will go, but what about Bailey? And I'm like, I forgot about Bailey. So we'll talk about Bailey then. I'm a little bit more clearer on Bailey, I think. I'm a little bit more clearer. I don't know. The vibes all right. He's trying, but again, I'm just not seeing enough, and I feel like he wants the move. I feel like is it Besiktas that are in for him, and yeah, from some of the stuff that I'm hearing, that it looks like he wants to leave and he might be leaving. So yeah, with him, it's just end product. Like, we get into good areas. There's just no end product there. And I'll be honest with you guys, my biggest element with Bailey is trust. I just don't trust him for another campaign. I don't trust that he's going to deliver those numbers. I don't believe that he'll be that Bailey that we want him to be. There's too much now of a similar sort of pattern that I see when he plays, that it just accounts to not a lot happening. He gets the ball 1v1, nothing happens. There's no delivery, there's no aggression, there's no end products. And it's a familiar pattern, a pattern of head going down, running back, just not working hard enough. And in some pre-season games, he's worked hard, and I've said he's worked hard and I've praised him. But for me, I think we've got to be realistic and say he's not the player that we want him to be. And that's okay in saying that. That's okay in saying that, because it's not hammering him, it's not slating him, it's just stating the clear, obvious elements of where we're at with Leon Bailey. And so it's just going to be interesting to see what materialises towards the back end of the window. So hopefully you've enjoyed my little ramble of how I'm feeling at the minute, and I'd like to hear what you're saying and what your thoughts are, and how you're feeling about all of the players that I've mentioned. So cheers everyone for watching. Up the Villa, subscribe, hit the like button and comment your thoughts.